You're very welcome here today. Thank you so much for giving up your time. For the benefit of our viewers, I wonder if you would just introduce yourself and give us a little bit about your role and the organisation in which you're involved.
Yeah, my name is Eileen Kennedy and I'm the chairperson of the Roscrea Bereavement Community Support Programme. We were set up in 2015. We were part of a beautiful project called Milford Compassionate Communities Project. It was where the Milford team came out to train parish groups that could actually run a service in their own communities for bereavement. And at the time there was a lot of bereavement in Roscrea through suicides and through various events. So Roscrea set up a group called Roscrea Cares. And out of that then all the groups were born. So we had Age Friendly and the Friends of Dean Maxwell, and we had the Bereavement Support Programme. And what we do is we provide compassion and dignity and respect for people who are on their grief journey, and we allow them to come together to support each other through our drop-in service and through our telephone line, which they can contact us and talk to us. We have, after 8 weeks of their bereavement, we get a parish record, and we send from all denominations, and we send out a little sympathy card to each family. And in that is our details of what we do, and just it's very informal and very relaxed, and our phone number is on the bottom. So usually maybe after 10 or 12 weeks they'll pick up the phone. So it's just to share and walk on that grief journey with them. And myself and my co-facilitator Dani Dunne, we run the drop-in service together, and then we have a home visitation team, and then we run various workshops throughout the year. We have a cafe conversation, which people just come together in the evening time. We have a cup of tea, and we actually talk about death and dying because people aren't comfortable about talking about it. And we try to get our message out there that we're there to support and to help them to support each other. And the wonderful work about it is when they come together in the group, they actually support each other. And they have, we notice now that they may be meeting for the cup of coffee or having the lunch together afterwards. So it's a real community. There's a beautiful ethos, and it's all born out of dignity and respect.
That sounds absolutely lovely. And the fact that it is a service that anybody can avail of?
Anybody can avail of it. It's all adults over 18. And it's free of charge. There's no cost whatsoever, and there's no compulsion on people. There's no pressure. So people just pick up the phone and ring us, and we welcome them along, or they can just drop in the morning either.
Okay. Yeah. And you mentioned then some of the workshops. Do they run just over a certain number of weeks, or are they just one-day workshops?
No, we tend to spread them out over the year. So we could have a workshop maybe in September and January, and then maybe just before the summer. Okay. So we have cafe conversations. It's where they come together just to talk about death and dying, because people are not very comfortable talking about death and dying, and yet it's the one thing that's going to face us all.
Absolutely.
And then we had a workshop on children's grief, because there was a lot of young people and children who would have died in Roscrea. So we had an open evening for Breed Carroll from the Irish Hospice Foundation came and did a beautiful workshop, and over 100 people turned up. So it just shows you the need for the service. And then we ran a workshop out in Mount St. Joseph's Abbey. It's the beautiful abbey near Roscrea, and it was a mindful and relaxing event for 2 days. And families and members dropped in and out, and we did the training. Jim Rattigan from Milford did the service for us, and it was lovely. Yeah.
So you actually have speakers or presenters come as well to some of these workshops?
Absolutely. We have the seed funding from Milford Hospice through the Compassionate Communities allowed us to, they give us seed funding. So it allows us to take on the guest speakers. The Irish Hospice Foundation have been really good to us with their through Rebecca Lyde, their community officer. So so we do a lot of work together. But the main thing is that people in Roscrea and the surrounding parishes know that they have a safe space to come to talk and help them share their grief journey.
And that's so important to
Absolutely.
have. I suppose then, thinking of the fact that you have the workshops and you've had the drop-in centres, the past, say, 18 months or so, how has that been, and how have you overcome those kind of challenges?
Yeah, it's been very difficult in that we haven't been able to have our actual physical drop-in service. So the phone line has become very important. We have changed over to making phone calls to our members, and we send them out messages. And at Christmas we did a special Christmas card with myself and my co-facilitator Dani, and we sent them out just to tell them we're thinking of them. And every month, the first Friday, we'd send the text, just know we're still here, But hopefully when things improve and it's safe to have groups together again, we will come back.
I suppose one thing I didn't think to ask you at the beginning was, is it all volunteers? I know there's yourself and Dani, but are there other volunteers?
Yes, there's a little group of 6 of us. So we have the volunteer in the parish centre who sends out the cards for us, the sympathy card after the 8 weeks. And then we have 2 ladies who do our home visits, but unfortunately, again, we haven't been able to do it during COVID. And then we have Dani and myself who facilitate the bereavement group. But we're part of the Roscrea Care, so there's a bigger group, a management committee that looks after all that end of it for us.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to add, just to share to people, here's something to know, or, you know, pick up the phone, call us?
Yeah. I suppose grief is a journey and a lifelong journey. People come and tend to want to know, when is it going to end?
Yeah.
But what we try to do is to allow them to bring it with them in compassion and be gentle with themselves. They're all very hard on themselves when they come first. But what really, it's about coming to share, because you're not the only one out there with grief. There's a whole community. And when we come together, there's beautifulness that can happen, and support and compassion. And we're there to listen. And we're not there. Some people thought it was where 2 people would be, they said, pontificating to them. So no, we're not. We're just there. We make a cup of tea, we light a candle in memory of your loved one, and we sit down and we just check in. How are you today? And everybody's at a different stage of grief. And as a result then, they're helping one another now. They're going for the cup of coffee or the lunch. And and it's completely voluntary. We give our time voluntary.
Lovely.
To run in the groups.
I think the biggest thing I've learned from you as well is that, you know, there are groups out there that will listen, that will allow me to get involved, will allow me and accept me to be where I'm at in my grief journey. And what you seem to be offering the people who attend also then is that thing of, they get to know somebody else and they start to build another support system for themselves.
And because people feel it very awkward around grief, and we've had members who said people will walk to the other side of the street because they actually don't want to talk about it. So it's actually, they found it so lovely. Now it takes a while to get through the door, but they found it so lovely where they could actually sit and be themselves and bring out what's going on, whether it's the rawness or whether it's a bit of fun or whatever is going on. And then it's all normal and a part of life. So we're just the blanket, I suppose, the comfort around them.
And I believe we're going to hear from Dani as well. She's going to talk to us a little bit about the drop-in groups. Absolutely. And how they work as well.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Thanks very much, and I'm looking forward now to hearing Dani's side of it as well, and what she's doing within the group.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a million. For our viewers, would you just introduce yourself and a little bit of your background in the group?
Yeah. Okay, so my name is Dani Dunne, and thanks so much for having me today. It's lovely to be here. I am a volunteer with Roscrea Bereavement Community Support. So together with Eileen Kennedy, I am facilitating or co-facilitating the drop-ins for our drop-in group.
And tell me a little bit about the drop-in group.
Yeah, so drop-ins happen once a month, every first Friday of the month, and we hold them in St. Cronan's Parish Centre, Abbey Street, in Roscrea.
Okay.
So it's for adults, like Eileen mentioned already. So anyone over 18 can come to them. There's no referral process, really. It's very informal. So if anybody is bereaved and would like to attend, they can just come along and on the day. Yeah. Or give us a quick call on our phone line beforehand, I suppose, if they want to find out more before they actually attend.
And would you find that some people will ring you maybe once or twice before actually attending the drop-in?
Yeah, Eileen now is the woman that usually has the phone, so she would know more about that. But I do think, that some people just want to kind of test the water, but or know what it is about and how it works on the day.
And I know you said that the drop-in is there, so it's the first Friday of every month that you have it. And like, can they connect with you throughout the month if they need to as well?
Yeah, I suppose over the phone again. If there is anything, always feel free to give us a shout on the phone, and if we can't answer it there and then, we'll surely ring you back.
Okay.
And get back to you. Yeah, so at the moment with COVID and everything, unfortunately, all our drop-ins are on hold.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't facilitate them due to the restrictions, but we're really hoping that things will open up. It's looking good.
Yes.
So, we're really hoping that we'll be able to meet up again, because it's such a precious thing to do, you know, for everybody, especially, people when they're bereaved. It's very hard when you're carrying that on your own, and sometimes people feel they can't really share it anymore. It has been a while maybe. Other people feel like they should be moving on. But like we always say, there is no timeline for grief. You know, it could be 10 years ago, it could be longer, so everybody's welcome. It's not a service for people who have just been bereaved, but it is really for everybody who still feels that pain and really, you know, needs a little bit of support on their grief journey.
So then, in listening to you, I'm gathering that they could, with the drop-in, I might come for a few months, I might take a break, I might come back again in a year or two, and that's perfectly okay.
Absolutely. Like you said, so the drop-in, it really means you could come once. And if you don't like it, you know, you don't have to come back. But you could also come on a monthly basis. It's totally, it's totally up to the people themselves. When they feel they would like a little bit of support or it helps them, then they're always welcome to come, exactly.
And would you find that, I know that Eileen mentioned a little bit about the workshops and that, do you find that from the drop-in groups that's a great place to maybe encourage people or to tell them about the workshops as well?
Definitely, and I think all the people that come to the drop-ins are very open to the idea. And if I can just go back to the drop-ins, what's really nice about it is that the people just come, we have a cup of tea, we have a chat and a few biscuits, and it's actually that the people support each other. So we are there, obviously, to be there as well, you know, to listen, to support them on their journey, but it's actually them. It's lovely to see how they help each other, how they share their experiences, but it's in a confidential and safe environment, which I think is very, very important, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's really important to stress to people that it is confidential.
Absolutely,
yeah,
yes.
That is really, really incredible.
Yeah.
And would you find also from the home visits, sometimes would people be encouraged from the home visits to then maybe get involved or feel that they have the courage to become involved in the drop-in centre?
They might, yes, they might. But it is, you know, in some cases people are too shy or they don't feel like facing a whole group of people, but they still need a little bit of support or they feel like they'd like to talk to someone. And I suppose the home visits are really, really good for that then, because sometimes someone actually goes out to them, speaks to them and has an open ear and listens to them, so they get that support. But like you said, sometimes it might be the case that people go, actually, do you know what? I would like to meet other people after a little while. So definitely.
It's there. And do you mind me asking, I know we said that it is open, that anybody can come along, but how can people contact you or, you know, make their inquiries? You've mentioned the phone.
Yeah.
Is that the best way for them to contact you?
That would be the best way, yeah. So we have a phone, so I have the number here and I think people can see it later
on the screen as well.
Yeah, so our number is 085 1918 550. That's the number you can contact, and like we said, you can see it later on
the
as well.
Screen.
Yeah.
And I suppose I did say to Eileen when we were just chatting there as well, you know, had she a closing piece of advice or anything like that? Is there anything that you would say, I've learned this, here's the little nugget I'd share on?
I am just always amazed with how people support each other. You know, to share experiences, to see that other people feel in a similar way or totally different.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's totally different, but to support each other on that journey, to see that, you know, there's nothing wrong with me, because sometimes people think, oh God, why am I over this? Why there's something wrong? And it's not. It's something you carry with you all the time. And for them to feel the compassion, the way, you know, they're there for each other. And for me, and I'm talking for Eileen now as well, but for us to be there, it's a privilege, you know, to be there on that journey with them and to be able to support them in a little way like that.
That's absolutely fantastic. Dani, thank you so much for everything today. It's been really, really informative. And I think it's a fantastic service. And I hope that more people get involved in it and I suppose make use of what's on offer to support them in their grief journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thanks a million
You're
for having me.
You're very welcome. Thank you.